I want to talk about this new push for a unified ballot among Texas Democrats this November. Today, the Texas Democratic Party announced the nominee for Texas Lieutenant Governor. State Representative Goodwin from Austin joined Texas Together. The party calls it a coordinated campaign designed to strengthen efforts to elect Democrats up and down the ballot. State Representative Goodwin is joining us from the Texas Together Austin headquarters, where in just about 30 minutes she'll help launch a phone bank there. Representative Goodwin, we thank you for taking some time out to talk with us.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
You know, this opportunity to join this Texas Together effort, was this something the Democratic Party approached you about, or did you ask to join in on it?
I think it was probably both. I have often talked about how we need to have coordination among all of the candidates to have a stronger message, to all be on the same page, to work as closely together so that we can have the best impact when it comes time to elect Democrats up and down the ballot. So we reached out to them, and this is a great opportunity to, again, work closely with James Tallarico, Gina Hinojosa, and make a real difference here in Texas.
You know, the party, in its words, celebrated your investment to become a part of this united campaign. It was $100,000. Talk to us about that investment. Some people question, is this like pay for play? What is this investment?
Well, I mean, it takes a lot of money to run a campaign. We have a lot of staff with the Texas Democratic Party that will go around the state to train up the volunteers. You know, we often have volunteers who will knock on doors and talk to people face to face, which is very effective. Oftentimes voters don't know who we are, and so having the volunteers out there knock on doors is going to make a big difference. But somebody has to train the volunteers. It takes it takes manpower, and we certainly have to pay those people that are doing the training. And so that's why it's important to have these investments in the campaign. And you know, I'm all in and want to make sure that we're effective.
You know, you are there today in just about, 20 minutes now. You guys are going to start launching a phone bank. Tell us a little bit about that effort and what's going to be happening.
Yeah, we are going to be reaching out, making a lot of phone calls to people to let them know who's on the ballot this time. The U.S. Senate race, James Tallarico, a lot of people have heard of him. He has done a lot of traveling around the state, but not as many people are as familiar of the lieutenant governor race, for example. So we want to make sure that we're putting our names out there, talking to people, asking them what's important to them. I think that's really the critical piece of this, is knowing what is on the minds of voters. What's going to motivate them to come out and vote this October and November.
You know, it is not going to be an easy lift, an easy effort to try to defeat Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. He is seen in the Republican Party as really the stronghold, a very stout conservative who has a large backing. What do you think the big message, the big difference between what he's telling voters he's offering and what you're offering them is?
Well, you know, my big issues are supporting our public schools. Dan Patrick was instrumental in getting the voucher bill passed that will take more money out of our public schools. I've been traveling around the state listening to our school districts, school board members, parents and families that are really concerned as schools are having to close down. Another big difference is I have been talking a lot about healthcare and what we need to do to make sure people have the ability to go see a primary care doctor to take care of their health affordably. And I have not heard anything from the Lieutenant Governor on that. We also just recently heard from many businesses that were shut down by this ban on THC, which was, again, Dan Patrick's main issue in the last legislative session. And so there's a big difference between our platforms. I really hope that there will be a debate between the two of us so that voters, again, have an opportunity to hear us side by side and understand there are a lot of differences between our campaigns.
Yeah. Give us some final thoughts for our viewers about why, because we're rapidly approaching the election, right? Why do you want them to vote for you this November?
You know, what we're hearing from so many people is that affordability is a big issue. Recently, as I've been traveling around the state, the data center issue has come up quite a bit. People are concerned about the amount of water and the amount of energy that these hyperscale data centers are using, they want to have a way to address that right now. So we've called on the governor for a special session to make sure that these companies that are building the data centers don't end up pushing those costs onto us. The governor has started to address that, but he's just using words until we pass laws. There's no enforcement ability to make sure that these companies are actually going to take on the cost themselves, not push it onto us and our households.
All right. State Representative Vicki Goodwin, the Democratic candidate for Lieutenant Governor, we thank you for your time today.
Thank you.